Thanks a lot for
you?
being here. I'm great. You know, I was thinking about today, thinking about your career. You started in the business when you were, what, 6, 7 years old?
I was 7.
Yeah,
I started doing commercials.
you grew up, you've been very successful, but I was thinking you grew up on television, and a lot of us have to go through these awkward stages in our life. You had to do that on TV. Was that hard for you?
Not when you're 9. Like, when
Right.
you're 9, it's sort of sweet. But when you're 13 and 14 and you're, like, you know, getting pimples and you're, like, growing 6 inches and
Right.
you're awkward, it's not fun at all.
All that happened to me in my late 20s, by the way, which is nice. You're 19 now, is that right?
I'm 19.
And you must feel like you've been doing this forever, but you're still so young. Are there things? I mean, 19 is a strange age because you're mature, you're growing up, but there are still things that you probably want to do that kids do, like Halloween. Would you still go out on Halloween?
Of course.
You would? Okay.
Yeah, it's just different because I actually have a team of professional hair and makeup people who actually turn me into Cher for the show, or, you know, it's like...
You can use the people you work with on the show and say, hey, make me something for Halloween.
But it just sort of cheapens it when I have to do it on my own, because then it's sort of like, oh... I mean, I sort of just want to go as, like, myself, you know, wearing, like, a sweatshirt. It's just sort of,
What about the thing that, like, a lot of us did? Well, I'm going to say a lot of us, and probably no one's going to agree with me, but I would get, like, a refrigerator box and just put dials on it and say I was a robot, you know?
Yeah, that's
I'm a robot. Wow, no one's with me on that one.
No, but one thing I've noticed is as you get older, like a lot of my friends, you know, are always sort of like the slutty stewardess or slutty nurse. And it's just so interesting. People are clapping. They're like, that's great.
Let me explain what kind of crowds we get here. Some people act all slutty on Halloween.
No, but it's so interesting how when you're a kid, you're sort of always like the Girl Scout or, you know, whatever.
Right.
And as you get older, everybody sort of wants to instantly slut it up.
Right.
And it's sort of nice to actually go as something sort of funny or whatever. I don't know, but do you have any tips?
I never went out as a slutty. Well, I was one year.
Good.
One year I was the naughty librarian. I got a lot of candy that year. Now, you're living in your own apartment now.
Yes.
On your own. Do you cook? Are you a good cook?
No, I'm not so good. I mean, I love cereal because, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you know, I'm curious about that. What kind of cereal do you like?
I love all sorts of cereal. But,
do you like the really? I mean, I'm asking. I'm interested because I can't cook at all, and the whole time I was single, I just lived off of things like Frankenberry and Fruit Loops, anything that turns the milk a weird color.
Like chocolatey or whatever. Well, my dad's actually a dentist, so I was not allowed sugar cereal as a child. So my sister's 21 and actually studying to be a lawyer. Hi, Jillian. I love my sister. Anyway.
Hi.
Conan says hi, too.
Hi, how are you?
That was kind of awkward.
No, not at all. The thing about this show is you can point it out and we all move on.
Nobody ever does that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, long story short, we always talk about the fact that you can't stop with cereal, that it never stops tasting good.
No.
And so it's like you kind of have to end up going through half the box and you're like, what the? You're like watching like Survivor or something. You're like, how did I wasn't
Here's
even
the thing
hungry.
that people do. Here's the thing that people do. You pour yourself a bowl of, like, I'm just going to say Count Chocula, an amazing cereal
Just
based on a vampire. And you pour it into a bowl, and then you pour some milk, and then you get to the bottom, there's a little bit of milk left, and you're like, I think I need some more Count Chocula. So you put that in, but then you need a little more milk, but then you need a little more Count Chocula. 9 boxes later.
It's a vicious cycle.
That's true. This is all true.
It's the most vicious cycle of all.
Now, I don't want to get too personal, but you're dating now. What is it you're looking for in a guy? There might be a guy watching right now who's a lot of guys really love you. What are you looking for in a fella?
I think what any girl, you know, like the typical line is you want somebody who's, you know, funny, but honestly, I just want someone who's passionate about something. It's just, nothing's like more interesting than finding somebody who is really good at something or loves something like music.
Just as long as they're passionate about something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just sort of has, you know, like a major passion.
Yeah. Hey, just going, yeah, it doesn't count as passion.
You guys sort of
I'll show her passion. Yeah. Yeah. I admire the guy for trying.
Yeah, good for you.
Or a deep-voiced girl.
Either way,
think that
I'm
is
open.
probably true. Like, women like a guy who's just passionate about something instead of
it's so
just
true.
whatever, man.
No, and it's so interesting because, you know, it always seems like actors never really work out because I think at the end of the day when you're, you know, sitting next to each other, you sort of want to have somebody, it's like, you know, how was your day? And if you sort of like have the same sort of life, it's sort of boring, and I think you sort of are without subconsciously. I think you're looking for something.
I agree with that. I think it's good to be with someone or be married to someone eventually who does something completely different from what you do. My wife is a rocket scientist.
Well,
yeah.
yes.
She's smart, I'm dumb, and it just works out. Yeah.
Sort of works.
Well, now what I like about you airs Friday nights
At 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock on the WB.
Yes, I did a movie this summer called She's the Man with DreamWorks, and that's coming out next year. So I hope you all like that.
Great.
And I'm excited about it. So
Oh, cool. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we've wanted you to be on the show for a long time, so thanks for doing it.
So
Cool. Amanda Bynes. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Judd Hale is here, so stick around.